Welcome to the very first episode of the Apple Watchers. On this episode, Apple has a full-time philosopher on staff. iOS 13 may let you import from external devices directly into apps. An Apple Watch lost at sea for 6 months washes up and still works. Apple's wearables sales are up, and up. All this and our picks coming up. Welcome to the Apple Watchers, a podcast about the Apple Watch and more. This episode and every episode is brought to you by me and Jay-Z, aka Jonathan Zarko. All right, let's get started. All right. For this episode, we're going to talk about how we met and where we were working together and what got us into, wanting to do this podcast.
Yeah. So it all started way back when in a garage-ish area.
Yeah, that building was kind of like a garage. It was
like four garages that had been merged together. I guess it was technically a workshop.
That's what it looked like. And we'll just call it an unnamed guitar company that we both worked at. And you were doing all the graphic design and web.
Yeah, and all the packaging and collateral, T-shirts, stuff like that too. I was the design nerd in the corner. And
working on his logo.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, that logo.
That's just his name. It's fine. But you were working in the electronics department.
Yeah, I moved to the pickup department. I was doing woodworking and painting. That's what I've done at several guitar companies. And then I switched to making pickups. I just found out that I enjoyed it, and they needed someone because the girl there was leaving.
Yeah, so, I don't even remember her. I don't think I ever met her.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know. I couldn't tell you who it was. I just remember you.
Yeah. Well, I think we met because you were in eyesight of where I was. I was like in this corner near an office, and I can see you down the way. And then somehow we discovered we both, like Apple products. And
yeah. It was because I think it was the iPhone 4 had come out, and everybody in the shop got one. And we had to decide.
Or 4S, right?
Or 4S.
4S, because I had the 3GS and then went to 4S because I would do every 2 years.
Yeah, it was the 4S, and we all had to decide which ringtone and text message alert we were going to have, because somebody would get a text message and like 4 people in the shop would look down at their phones. So
man. We
had to figure out, we were all too close and we could all hear each other's chimes, and so we had to decide who got what so that we would not all get disrupted when one person got a text message.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, now we're here with all these other really cool Apple products in the world.
Yeah, now we're here. You're working at a big company. You can name them or not name them if you'd like.
It's fine. It's not private knowledge, but I don't need to talk about it. But it's a big company.
Yeah,
we make digital products, and so I do web and apps designs for this large company. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I'm working for a company that makes electronic movie slates, and I do more electronics assembling. But in between there, I was doing guitar building and painting at another company as well.
Yeah, I have zero musical talent, so I was literally there just for design. But I always thought they were cool.
Well, I play some instruments, but I still feel like I have zero musical talent. So
you at least have a rhythm. Because I don't even think I have that.
And, with GarageBand, you don't need rhythm or musical talent.
You can just put it all together.
Yeah, anyone can put it together. Anyways, had the Apple Watch since day one, and you're a recent adopter of the Apple Watch. So there should be a good, take on the watch. A good contrast. Because a lot of these shows, they're experts. They've had it since day one.
Yeah.
So I think this will help people out that are just getting an Apple Watch, and we'll get to the sales. They're just through the roof.
Oh, yeah.
They just continue to be through the roof.
Yeah. Well, it's a great product, so it's definitely working.
Yeah.
So you were an early adopter. You had like Series 0, right?
I did. I still have it. And I got it on day one, and I just saw my Facebook memory pop up that, this battery life is great, and boy, did that change.
Yeah. It's gotten even better.
Yeah, because at least, a year and a half, 2 years in, it was...
Oh, the Series 0 battery was down.
Yes, the battery on that one was not doing so well.
Well, its system, the hardware wasn't as good, so it was probably taxing that battery a lot harder than, one of the newer ones.
Yeah. The difference in usability and functionality is really quite different, because everything on that watch from day one would just spin and not load. So it's probably good you skip that. And getting any early Apple product, you definitely run the risk of them coming out with one in 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they did. So the Series 1 came out 6 months after that, and I was very annoyed.
Yeah.
And so
as anyone would be.
Yeah, I would steer away from Generation 1 products. The only one I couldn't steer away from was the AirPods.
Yeah. A lot of people are really happy with those. My only concern was they are the same shape as the current just normal wired headphones.
Yeah.
And those things just fall out of my ears all the time. So if there wasn't a rope or string or whatever or wire to connect them, then I'm sure I would lose them all the time. But I think you have like a special thing, right, that helps hold them in a little better.
Yeah, they're called wings. That keeps them in better. Oddly enough, even without the wings, they will stay in better, even though they're the same shape. And the reason for that is that the cord, the wires are pulling on it. And I know this because sometimes when I ride the metro, I won't want to bring my AirPods. Just afraid of them falling out. So I'll bring my wired headset, and it's just
constantly pulling.
Yeah, and listening to music is the worst because it just won't stay in your ears. You lose the bass and the volume, and you crank it up, and then you push them back in your ears, and then all of a sudden it's too loud. So they do stay in a little better because they don't have that cord, pulling. So
we're a little bit more about us. We're both in sunny Southern California, and we both ride bicycles and stuff around because the weather is perfect 340 days out of the year. Do you find it okay to ride do you ride your bike with your AirPods in?
No.
Okay.
And I mean, even back in the day before AirPods, I wouldn't ride with headphones because I like to hear what's going on. Yeah, that's just me. Everyone has a personal preference. I mean, I feel like definitely if you had music going and it was really loud, that you're going to have a hard time hearing what's around you. Maybe a podcast or, audiobook might be okay.
Yeah, I know there's a law in California while you're driving, you're not supposed to have headphones in, but you can have one in. And so I have a pair of knockoff Bluetooth headphones that are separated and they do hold into my ear. So I'll I'll ride my bike with just one in.
Oh, okay.
So I can still hear around me, and I'm listening to podcasts anyways, so it's just talk.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be my concern is if I was riding and having it in and then hitting a pothole or something and it falls out. So
you would need those wings.
Need the wings.
Yeah, the wings keep them in. I use the wings when I'm listening to music because it'll drive me crazy to have the EQ of the audio to change.
Right, yeah, depending on the shift in your ear.
Yeah, it's not so bad when someone's just talking on a podcast or an audiobook.
Yeah.
It's fine. And yeah.
For me, the whole point, the way I was able to justify getting the Series 4 watch, which was different than the original ones, because I liked the other ones, but I was like, I don't really have a need for it. There's other things to pay for right now. But I've been riding my bike back and forth to work, and the new fall detection that they added to the Series 4 was super compelling to me, so that if I get hit by some crazy LA driver, hopefully the fall detection activates and maybe contact somebody if there's a hit and run or something, if I'm too hurt. So that was my main justification. I'm like, it's for safety.
Yeah.
And now I use it all the time.
Yeah, and hopefully there'll be people around to help out too. To add to that fall detection, it does work.
Oh, that's right. You you tried it.
I slipped. I'd go for a little hike every day near my work. It's a little steep, so on the way down, I slipped, and I didn't think about it at the time to take a screenshot. But you can look it up. There's a little notification that comes up to ask if you want to call emergency services.
Yeah, and if you don't interact with it after a certain amount of time, it just does. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does it make noise? Like, I know the iPhone, when you activate the emergency services, like the 5 times on the home or the sleep button or whatever, it like beep, beep, and it's telling you that it's going to call 911.
I don't know, because I always have my watch on silent. Always.
I think the iPhone will still make that noise even if the phone's on silent. Yeah. Because I've had it happen one time in a movie theater.
Well, I better go fall again or something.
Well, no, there are better ways to get your steps and your exercise in besides falling down mountains.
Oh my God. Yeah.
But speaking of exercise, so Earth Day.
Yeah. So this first story, Earth Day, this is related to getting that badge. But Tim Cook tweeted, and it was his opportunity to share some shot on iPhone photos, which they're really stunning.
They're beautiful.
I think. I mean, even this simple photo of some kind of lizard there.
Okay, so I have a comment about the lizard photo. I'm calling shenanigans. It's gorgeous.
Really?
Yeah, but the depth of field on the iPhone is by software mostly, right? And so what I've noticed when I use it is you need to have a good contrast between whatever's in your foreground and whatever's in the background. And this lizard is green and white, and behind him is green leaves that also have white highlights. And so the fact that it doesn't have like little blooms of blurry around him, I don't know how they got that. It's either like a really, really lucky photo, which it very much could be.
I'll put a link in the show notes to this so people can check it out. But right up towards his nose, it is kind of blurry.
Oh, I guess there is a little bit of a bloom up in there.
And they, it doesn't specify too that, these apps could have been edited in another app.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
It just states that they're shot on an iPhone. Because I don't know if you've heard of, there's an Apple called Focos. It's like FOCOS. And you can take your, depth of field photos, your portrait photos, and you can do all sort of things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
we'll have to cover that as a pick one time.
Yeah. All right. I no longer, I'll suspend my disbelief.
Yeah, it looks like it could be possible.
It's super cool, though. I love all of these photos. Like
now,
the frog and the flower. They're all really cool.
For Earth Day, of course, there was a challenge on the Apple Watch, which was just getting 30 minutes of exercise.
Did it have to be continuous?
I'm under the impression that you do not.
Because here's the thing. Although I think there was some kind of a glitch, maybe just on that day.
And it just happens to be that day.
It just happened. It literally is only that day. But even though I closed out all of my rings, I didn't get the little green dot saying that you closed out all your rings. And even though I have more than 30 minutes of exercise, I didn't get the badge.
Sheesh.
Shenanigans. They're out to get me. They're mad I didn't start with a Series 0.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Man, that's crazy.
It was just really weird. I didn't know what happened.
That's the thing with any of these devices. Obviously anything can go wrong, but it seems like it goes wrong at the most inopportune time.
Yeah.
You're trying to get that badge.
Just want the silly badge.
And now you got to wait another year.
And
then you can never go back and get that one.
No, yeah, the 2019 one's gone.
It's gone.
I've considered going into an Apple store, though, and just being like, what did I do? What happened? So that they can look at me and be like, oh, I don't know. You were supposed to stand 15 times to actually get it in the day or something stupid.
I bet they get that all the time.
Yeah.
Speaking of stand, I'm going to put that on my wish list for the next OS, is that stand could be accurate. It is horribly inaccurate.
Yeah, you have to like move around.
But the stand by definition is we're sitting right now and we stand up.
Yeah.
But I do that like, probably 100 times a day by now, because I'm aware of it.
Uh-huh.
So I try to stand up. My job, you sit a lot, so I try to stand up. It's not even counting them, because the goal is 12 stands in a day, and I'm doing like 100.
It's one every hour. So if you don't stand within the hour, but I don't know how it triggers it. So if you stand up at 12:59, walk around, and now it's 1 o'clock, and then you sit down, and then you stand up at 1:05, will it be like, okay, you stood once in the 12 o'clock hour and once in the...
It's crazy. And how many times, and this goes all the way back to the Series 0, and I can't believe it still does it, but you're standing, and it's telling you to stand.
Yeah, it's time to stand up. You're like, I am.
Yeah, I am standing. Shouldn't you know that?
Do you get this where you'll just be sitting there, and it'll be like, you reached your move goal? And I don't, is it for moving my hands? I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm too animated when I talk.
Yeah. It's weird. But that stand, I mean, they should really fix it, because I would like to get more credit. I mean, I stand a lot because like I said, I'm very aware of it. So I make an effort to stand constantly.
So I will admit that I have modified my stand. You can modify your stands. It's a little hacky, but sometimes I'll wake up in the morning and I'll be standing and running around, and I haven't put my watch on because it's charging. And so then I realize, like, oh, I've been up for 2 hours running around, but I'm missing now 2 hours in my stand goal. So if you use the iPhone Activities app, you can save an exercise for 1 minute.
Oh my God.
And if you do it at that time, it will then register as a stand. So I've been able to add it in there when I know for a fact that I did it, and I just wanted to make sure it was being tracked.
Oh, man. Well, fear not. If you're trying to meet those 12 stand goals, that as you get older like me, and then if you wear your watch to sleep like I do, you'll get up to use the restroom.
Oh yeah, you're padding your time.
Yeah, I get, at least two a night. So, yeah. It's not cheating.
Yeah, you're standing.
It's not cheating. I am standing. I don't want to, but I have to.
Yeah. I think that's fair. It's a good trade-off.
Yeah. This next story is interesting. Apple apparently has a full-time professional philosopher on staff. And this comes to us from Apple Insider.
But why? That's basically what he's trying to solve every day.
That's right. Why? Why doesn't the stand goal work correctly? Why?
It's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
I almost wonder if it was like somebody's cousin and needed a job, and they're like, well, I'm a philosophy major. Do you need a philosophy person at Apple? And they're like, it's sure. And that's why they won't let him be interviewed.
Yeah, let's convince Tim Cook we need this position.
Right, yeah.
It'll really help. Yeah, it's very interesting.
Have you seen that show on HBO, Silicon Valley?
Oh yeah.
So it's like on Hulu, there's that guru, right?
Oh yeah.
It's a real thing.
Yeah, we haven't watched it in a while. I'm trying to think. We either left off at season 3 or 4.
Yeah, it was like Gavin, so the main guy at Hooli. He has his philosopher guru who like helps him in life or whatever, you know.
Yeah, that was now. Yeah, it's coming back to me. That like,
so I don't know. Maybe they're. I'd be curious to know how he impacts products, or is it for the employees? Or is
it's a little unclear, but I mean, he joined the facility at Apple University in 2011, and then outside his lectures, he all his work is kept pretty confidential, and Apple won't let him even be interviewed.
It must be to help kind of open up ideas for the employees and the designers and the people there to think about problems differently, I'm sure. Think about what people are going through and how they can help make the world better or solve problems, right, with their products and services. So,
yeah, well, maybe I'm not sure if any of the other big guys like Google or Amazon or Facebook have a philosopher, but I would suggest it.
Yeah. Yeah. Soon it'll be the thing that every major company needs,
Yes.
I'm the on-site philosopher.
Huh. That's got me thinking. Maybe I should become a philosopher.
That's the first step to becoming a philosopher, is thinking. So
I'm halfway there.
You're there, man. Yeah. You put that on your resume starting now.
Yeah, I do a lot of thinking.
A technology philosopher.
Yeah. Yeah. That looks good on a resume. Thinking. Did you hear about this next story?
No, but it's super compelling.
Yeah. So this obviously could be just a rumor, but I hope it's true that iOS 13 will let you bypass the Photos app and import media from external devices directly into apps, which would be fantastic.
This seems like a good idea, I think. For Apple, right? Instead of being in the way of people using their products, it allows people to use the products as they want to.
Yeah, makes it more like a computer, too.
Yeah, it makes you
closer.
It makes them kind of have to. To me, it seems like they have to admit and be a little bit more humble that they don't necessarily do everything the best. The Photos app is fine. It's not the greatest.
Yeah.
My biggest issue with it is sometimes when I'm trying to find a photo and it reverts back to all my pictures from 2011. I'm like, no, I'm looking for the photo I took yesterday. Thanks, though.
Yeah.
I'll just scroll through everything. So if I can just immediately go from, photo camera to photo on Dropbox or something, I think that's great.
Yeah, I wonder if it'll load directly into like Lightroom for the iPad and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
Really
and it would help people's workflow a lot. I don't do photography. Doesn't apply to me, but I could see where this would be very helpful because in this article, it also states that, if you're using photos with iCloud, so you have all your photos backing up, when you load it from a device, it's going to back up first, use up data. You could be out somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's going to drain your battery more.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So if you can just load it into wherever you want, Lightroom, Drive.
No, it seems like, like I said, a much better way to kind of get out of the user's way so that they can start doing what they want to do with it.
Yeah.
All for it. Kudos, Apple. Good job.
Yeah.
Do this.
The reason I put this story in here, too, is I'm in the midst of possibly getting a MIDI keyboard and found out that the same device that you would use to do this, you would also plug in a MIDI keyboard. And that's the camera connector, the USB-C camera connector allows you to plug in any MIDI keyboard.
I'm really wondering if they're getting ready to ditch the lightning cable for USB-C entirely. Like, I know it's the only port on the iPad Pro, so...
Yeah. I I personally think it would be good,
And the new MacBooks only have USB-C charging and everything. It's all through there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe we'll see an iPhone 11 with a USB-C.
Yeah, part of me is like, that would be great, but then to have to switch again.
Yeah, whole new set.
And it hasn't been, like I should have researched this, but it hasn't been that long since the 13 pin. I mean, how many years?
Yeah, well, it's been, in terms of technology time, it's been a while, right? And I feel like, so the
true.
Lightning cable has run its course. I think it's still very good. The fact that there wasn't a correct way, top or bottom, right, to plug it in. It just worked. It was wonderful. But you get that with USB-C. And so if I'm really thinking about it, the USB-C cords, you can get them really cheap too because they're not proprietary. I bought them solely for a charger, right? An inductive charger for my iPhone to sit on. And I think I already have 3 of them now, just from other devices and things that I've bought. So I think the apprehension that people have of like, oh, I got to try keeping this, I want to keep this lightning cord. I think that will dissipate pretty easily. We're already in a dongle world. Yes. So a lot of people will have dongles too if they want to try to use their old cords or old connectors. It's also a way to get people to upgrade. I mean,
yeah.
It's kind of a not so great thing to think about, but it really is part of it too, It's not really a planned obsolescence, but it's more like a nudge towards a better experience. But ultimately, being able to have these cords that you can use across all devices, Mac and whatnot, I think is ultimately better for everybody.
Yeah, I think so. These cords have probably run their course, but it'd still be a lot of money to shift over, but guess we'll get over it again. All right. Have you heard about this? Google Fit activity tracking comes to iOS with Apple Watch support.
This is also really cool, I think, because it allows you to start getting into these other worlds, right? You can start. Well, everybody I think already uses Google. Google Docs is amazing, and even if you're an iOS person, I think you see a lot of benefit in some of the Google things. If you haven't, give them a peek. I think you can live harmoniously with both. So this is super cool.
Yeah, I am using it. I am on the fence about it, though. I'll get to that. I am using it. Now it's an app on your iPhone, but there's no app for the Apple Watch.
Oh, so it's just reading the data from the watch.
It's taking it from the health app. So you do get credit for all your activities, stuff like that.
Now I wonder, can you connect? You can't connect an Apple Watch to an Android device at all.
No.
Right. Okay.
Not at all.
So this is Google's
Unless
first
there's
attempt.
a hack.
Oh, maybe. Which for an Android device, it definitely might be. So this is kind of Google's first attempt at like, hey, we can capture some market share by showing that we have an app that's good for you. And, then maybe later on you get used to that and you try switching over possibly.
Possibly. Yeah. And this Google Fit app has been out for quite a while on Android, just not iOS. Now they do some tracking, like they give you heart points and move minutes, which I haven't really got into. I even turned on notifications expecting to get a lot of notifications, but I haven't. So I don't know if I'm meeting these heart point goals and move minutes, but I'll have to go in and dig around a little deeper.
So is it like the rings? You have a goal, you're trying to get so many heart points, and it's tracking to make sure that your heart rate gets to a certain beats per minute or something multiple times a day?
I guess they're using some of the data from some kind of heart association too, that you need X amount to get your heart rate up, and that helps with a healthy heart. But I haven't digged deep enough, and like I was saying earlier, I am on the fence because I do trust Apple with my health data, but I'm not sure about Google with my health data.
That's fair.
I do use Gmail. We use Google Docs and all that, but I don't know. They're health related. I'm on the fence, and there's a possibility that I might delete this app. So far, I don't know what I'm getting out of it.
Yeah, I'm curious if it was accepted on to the iOS store, then I'm sure that some of the data must be safe, right? I'm sure Apple would have vetted it for anything, especially coming from Google. They're going to be like, all right, it's got to be perfect. But I don't know, maybe not.
Yeah, you would assume, but I mean,
if they're storing that that data in a cloud somewhere,
well, even if they're taking the same data, they can be doing something else with that data. You know, I don't think Apple really uses our health data for anything. I do believe that they keep pretty much everything private.
So maybe Google's using this to track what your heart rate's at and your location, because you have Google Maps on your phone. And it goes, okay, so Kevin has a high heart rate and he's down in Santa Monica. Throw an ad for a juicy smoothie.
Yeah, and
time for a cool down.
I don't want to find out later that it's been tracking me everywhere I went.
Yeah,
who knows? I mean, I assume it's not, because it would state that. But
yeah,
I just
perhaps I'm too naive, and I believe that Apple is, even the apps that aren't Apple related apps, they're kind of guarding special sensitive data like that. So that's my hope.
Yeah. So these next two stories are somewhat related. Apple Watch shipments shot up 49% last quarter. That's really not surprising. It's probably going to continue to do that. Mm-hmm. This story comes from Cult of Mac, by the way.
Well, there have been a lot of sales going on for the Apple Watch 2, which is interesting.
Yeah, there's been some on the 3 as well, a lot of the 3. And then for you folks out there that maybe need to upgrade, there's also been even Apple Watch 4, I believe, refurbished popping up. Mm-hmm. Because people probably return them and whatnot. Some people.
Or something happens and they turn it in, so Apple swaps it for another one.
I returned one because I had the black one. Oh. And then with the Nike Sport Loop black reflective band. Really like the band, but I'm more of the, just regular silver aluminum guy. Yeah, that's what I've done.
Got the all black everything.
Yeah,
so I like just having a little black band on my back, or on my back, my wrist. So I try to I have the all black body with the black Milanese loop.
Yeah. Well, their wearables are turning into a huge success because they're also selling a lot of AirPods as well.
Yeah, so they created a new product, right, that has a great little ecosystem with the AirPod and the watch and your mobile device. This is really exciting too, because as market share is growing, I think that means more and more apps are going to get made for the watch. Oh, yeah. And so I'm excited to see what comes out.
Yeah. That just reminded me of something, and I want to point out. We have some friends that are using Fitbits, and they're competing amongst one another, which is really cool. And I discovered you can actually do that as well, right? So you can get the Fitbit app, you don't install any device, and you can compete as well. But there's a huge downside that they need to fix. It doesn't integrate with Apple Health. And I was dumbfounded when I found out that. It just seems to make no sense. And they have a blog or an area where people could put comments, and everyone's like, really? Why? What is going on here? And it seems like the weirdest thing.
So you have a Fitbit on, and you have the app on your phone, and it doesn't track it into Apple Health? It
will not go into Apple Health. None of the Fitbits. I know. Because all the big name apps, I don't know if you've used too many, but anything like MyFitnessPal or any of those big ones, they always integrate.
Yeah.
A lot of the calorie counting apps, they integrate too.
Yeah, they want to get in there, and so they can start using all that other data in there too.
Yeah. And I like having it all in one place.
Yeah.
And so I just couldn't get on board because I was going to maybe compete with them, although they're a little extreme for my taste. They, are doing like, too healthy, doing 20,000 steps a day.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
They were like, you're only doing 7,000? I'm like,
are they walking to work? Like, what are they doing?
Well, yeah, one guy's, running in the morning and then running in the afternoon and then, walking in the evening. It's completely out of hand.
Good on them, but I'm happy with my bike.
Yeah, and I can't, we haven't discussed this, but we're not directly competing. We didn't set up a competition, but I am always looking what you're doing. Mm-hmm. My niece, who's, like 100 years younger than me, only
95. Come on.
I'm looking at what you guys are doing, and it was stressing me out for a while. But I'm older than you guys, so I look at it. I'm like, well, me and you have the same calorie set. Mm-hmm. My niece has a lower calorie set, which I think she should change. Cause, she's like 100 years younger than me. But so past week, I've learned to just accept that I can't always get to where you guys are at, but I'm older, so it is what it is. Yeah, but I do pretty
different. So
I think I do pretty well for my age.
When you compete, though, is it actually competing to the number of calories, or is it the percentage of the goal? Right. So if you set your goal down a little bit lower than mine because of your age, right? I'm going to put it that way, right? Then so long as you're meeting, if you hit your goal 110% of the time, but I only hit my goal 102% of the time, does that mean you win?
Yeah, you know what? We're going to have to test that. Even if I lose, we're going to have to test that. And maybe we'll do a test where we're at the same calories, and then we'll do one where maybe I'm lower because I'm older.
And see how it does.
I keep saying I'm older.
Nobody had to know you're older.
I'm not self-conscious about it at all.
Well, if we could do a challenge where it's the number of times somebody stands, then you'll get the advantage on that one.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. But if only they would count all my stands,
all of your stands,
Yeah.
Man, I can't keep up with you, man. You stood up 400 times yesterday.
Yeah, I probably did. Yeah, we definitely have to do a test because I'm not sure if it's percentage or like just closing your rings or who closed their rings first. So we'll have to test it. And I should already know this because I've had the Apple Watch for so long, but I've never had anyone to compete with. I have a friend that has one, but I didn't want to compete with him either because he's really fit. He lives up in these mountains, and he's like running up the mountains. And
oh man,
I was like, not going there. I can't do that. But continuing a little bit with this story, Apple had their earnings report a few days ago, and their wearables are swelling to 5.1 billion.
Wow, just in Q2.
Yeah. And about 75% of Apple Watch buyers are new users.
Okay, see, so that's awesome. That's insane, right? That means that apps and things are coming. And I talked about this before, just in other conversations, but I think there's a lot of really cool things that could be done with the watch, especially because it has all of the accelerometer and it knows, which direction you're holding it and has all that technology built into it. There's huge opportunities for things like AR and VR and being able to control, say, like glasses. The Google Glass looked too different, right? So, and it freaked people out. But if we could get some kind of wearable that was built into some glasses that look like normal glasses, if you could use your Apple Watch to control it, so maybe it's reading gestures, that would be really cool. Or if you could if it could read, I think we had seen some articles about this previously about how it can detect more muscle shapes and stuff. Like they were talking about doing things in the band where it can detect how your hand is being shaped. There's a lot of really cool things that could happen with that, right? Where,
yeah.
like maybe you could start texting people by writing out words with your fingers, like hi, and you're actually putting out H-I with your finger, or no, or
Boy, that could go really wrong.
yeah, instead of autocorrect, it would be auto write correct or miswrite.
Yeah. Man, my head's spinning because that could go really wrong.
Or it just reads gestures. So maybe instead of, you knows you're doing a thumbs up, gives a sense of thumbs up emoji.
Yeah. Yeah. Middle finger.
Middle finger. No. Just sends a blur.
Oh, man. Yeah.
That's really cool. If more people using it, that means that the more things are going to happen for it, so it gets better for everybody.
Yeah, man, these figures are just astounding. It'll be really interesting to see where they go with all of their wearables. And of course, there's rumors of them having glasses, which is a wearable.
Oh, this is really interesting. This little poll that you have here. This says CEO Tim Cook comments that the company's wearable segment is now the size of a Fortune 200 company.
Yeah, that is
just
nuts.
the segment. Yeah,
that is nuts. Yeah, and their CFO, Luca Miestri, he noted that the wearable sales rose 50% year over year.
That's insane.
Which is, it is insane.
Now that growth is going to be hard to maintain.
Yes.
But if they're smart, they'll utilize it to create other revenue streams, right, through other services from the app.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is all going to feed into that whole concept. They're moving into being a service-based company, and I think there was a thing about them saying health is a big area that they're interested in kind of tapping into, and so like a healthcare provider almost, or I don't know if it's like an insurance provider, but if you have all of your health information in your Apple Health app, and you have Apple Health insurance, so to speak, using your wearable, I think would be a great way to kind of track that and monitor your health. And
yeah, and there's I didn't put it in here, but there is companies they've been doing it for a while that will give you discounts. They'll sell you an Apple Watch at a discount, but then they want to monitor
your movement and stuff.
Yeah, and people, that could go a few different ways because it's a little intrusive. Mm-hmm. And if you don't meet those goals too, then
what? They charge you more.
Yeah, your insurance goes up. So I don't know, and I feel like Apple moves very slow with a lot of things, and they test the waters. And I wonder if they're maybe going to eventually get into healthcare. I mean, even the credit card is just I would have never expected.
Mm-hmm. But that also kind of fits into the healthcare aspect too, right?
Yeah.
So now they have a credit system set up. So if they start offering insurance and you have things like copays or expensive, medical treatments, they already have a way to extend you a line of credit.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I can see dots getting connected.
Yeah. Man, I just wonder where they're going to go with all this. And Tim Cook has made statements before about their biggest contribution is going to be health. Mm-hmm. So there must be a lot up their sleeve, but they're just moving slow.
Well, they're very deliberate, right? So they, like you said, they test things out, and then when they finally are ready to do a thing, they do it full-heartedly. So I think that's really cool. The AirPad or the power mat.
Oh man,
is a testament to that. They're like, we can't do it right, so we're just not going to do it.
Yeah, maybe they should be a little more careful on what they announce to make sure it's really going to work. But it is, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. Hopefully they don't make mistakes like that again. Now this final story, I don't know if you saw this anywhere, but it's really an incredible story. This guy, he's a body surfer. His name's Robert Bainter.
Not painter.
Yeah, not a painter. And I got this story from KTLA online, but this story was covered everywhere, like pretty much everywhere. But this guy's a body surfer. He was, riding a huge wave and then, pulled up his arm and his watch was gone.
I love this quote from him. I'm gonna channel him for a second.
Yeah.
A huge wave came and, I was loving it, rode it, and then I pick up my arm and I'm like, oh my God, what just happened?
Yeah, he was probably very bummed.
But this is really cool. I had no idea that the watch had a lost mode.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to is I had no idea that this even existed. I've never had to Find My iPhone. So this lost mode does pertain to iPhones, Apple Watch. I would assume even a Mac or a newer Mac too. I don't think someone would return your Mac if they got it, but but maybe an iPhone, and someone did return an Apple Watch. So
yeah, to finish the story, so 6 months later.
Oh yeah, six months later,
the watch washed up
yes.
on the shore, and somebody found it.
Yes, and I mean, I don't know how it was still charged, or if it was still charged. Well, okay. My guess is, and I don't want to try this, but if you just lost your Apple Watch, like this guy, you put it on lost mode, maybe it just uses minimal battery, almost nothing. Because obviously this lost mode, it puts up on the screen, please call me if you find this device, whether it's an Apple Watch or phone. And with the phone number right on the front. I mean, that is...
Maybe it doesn't put the screen up unless it gets touched, and so it just held on to battery power.
Yeah.
Either that, or did somebody find it and they had an Apple Watch and they're like, what? And they just stuck it on the charger at home and it came up.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out is, and I don't think any of these stories really covered all the minute details, but maybe the person that found it has an Apple Watch themselves, so they were able to charge it. Because 6 months is a long time.
That is a long time. I'd be surprised if any electronic device lasted that long, just sitting in a drawer.
I don't...
Short of like a remote control.
I mean...
I feel like I have to charge my Apple TV remote more than 6 months. Every 6 months, and we barely use that. Yeah, and
we actually didn't mention this in the beginning, but I have experience with other, smartwatches and hybrid smartwatches, and I have the Nokia Withings Steel HR, and it's sitting in a drawer, but it still won't last 6 months.
Wow.
I mean, that's... So I don't know how this Apple Watch would have lasted 6 months. I just don't know.
Well, even the fact that it still works, even if the battery didn't last and somehow they were able to charge it, it was in salt water for 6 months.
Yeah.
And came out and was still able to be turned on. It's very impressive. It makes me feel good about mine.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess there was a little haze on the screen once he got the watch back. But, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that it survived.
Salt.
Yeah. In salt water. That's fine.
Yeah. Compare that to, what was it? The Galaxy Fold that they put out there. And even the reviewers, they couldn't get it to last, for more than a couple weeks. They were getting bends and bulges and things in the screen. So.
Oh, Samsung. They wanted to do something revolutionary. That's a whole nother subject.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Maybe for next time. But
yeah.
Glad to see that the watch is well constructed.
Yeah, and obviously it was on, in the water mode.
Yeah, yeah.
But, I mean, that's incredible. Really incredible. And being that we didn't know about this lost mode, just letting everyone know that there is something called lost mode. So if you lose your device, and you can find how to turn it on, somewhere on Apple's website there.
It's really cool. I've used my watch to find my phone all the time because I have black furniture and a black phone, which match my black watch. And sometimes it'll just be on the couch, but you can't see it anymore.
Yeah, and your couch is black, and all your clothes are black, so it could be under.
Yeah,
right. Everything you own is black.
It's all black, like my soul. But yeah, it just sometimes you lose it, and so hitting that button on there to let you make the noise is really good. And I've used Find My iPhone just to make sure that I've left my phone at home before. This is before I had the watch, but you get to work, and you're like, oh, I forgot my phone. I did forget my phone, right? And you check Find My iPhone from iCloud.com, and you see it. Like, oh, it's at the house. All right.
Yeah.
So that's good. I'm glad that this is a thing.
What's cool about using the watch to find your phone and have that little sound, if you lose your phone in your house, you can't really use Find My iPhone.
Right.
Or maybe
like,
I don't know if they have a way now to put make it have a sound.
Yeah, you can make it chime.
Okay, because without a sound, you're just like, okay, it's here.
It's here.
It's here, but I don't know where here. But I haven't, knock on wood, I haven't really lost my phone or had to use, find my phone from my watch. But Celeste, younger niece, when my fiance Celeste, when her niece was younger, she loved to hit that little button and make the sound go off. Yeah, so it did get tested a lot, but not on purpose, not for what it was designed for. But this is just an incredible story, and it makes me happy about my Apple Watch, and knowing that it's pretty durable, and hopefully they still get even more durable.
Yeah.
But 6 months.
6 months.
That is
impressive.
Crazy.
So it's a good product. That's why we have the podcast.
Yeah. I wonder
like chatting about it.
I wonder if the phone will do that too. Cuz
the last 6 months?
Cuz it's got waterproofing.
It does. Yeah. You should try it.
No, I was
check it. And just
no. I was just going to say you should try it.
You first.
Oh man. It might be covered though with Apple Care and everything.
Yeah. So my phone was in the ocean for 6 months, but I have the Apple Care Plus. Did you?
Yeah. Come on, you said it was waterproof.
Yeah.
But they'll say, oh, only 5 months.
Oh yeah.
On that.
6 months in salt water. No, it's
only the Apple Watch will last 6 months or more. So, being that this is the first episode, we'll just let people know. I think we're going to do picks at the end of every episode, and that'll be an app or something related to Apple Watch or even an iOS device, or something related, not something totally off the wall. And for this, my first pick, I picked a meditation app that's called Still. Now, I like this one because I've used other meditation apps like Calm, and those are cool. And I think everyone has different needs out of any exercise app, and the same with meditation. I didn't like the guided meditations.
Ruined your flow, yeah.
It definitely ruined my flow, because I've tried a few, but I for my meditation, I just get in my own thoughts and think of positive things, and I'm not going to share with everyone everything I'm thinking, but it really ruined my flow. But I definitely understand why those other apps, people want to achieve something in particular, and they need to be guided through it. Now, this one is just really really simple. There's not even background sounds. I would like if they would add some kind of background sounds.
Just like a tone or some chimes or something.
There is a chime for, I'll explain that, but a lot of meditation apps, they'll have like background sounds like water or nature. And I kind of like that. Mm-hmm. And I wish they would add that if they were only listening. But
can you run that app and another audio at the same time?
Possibly, but I tend to do these. For me, it would just add another step, and I tend to do these on the fly in the morning, before work.
Yeah, part of your morning routine.
Yeah, but what I like about this one, the way it is now, is you can set a session length, like a duration. So I like when it's on the screen when you pull it up. It shows session and how long. So if you only have 5 minutes, you can just set it for 5 minutes. And then there's a button for the interval, and that'll just let you know. You can have a halfway point where a little chime goes off, or it'll vibrate your wrist if your watch is on silent. The only thing I don't like about this app is sometimes I don't think it lets me know when it's done.
So you're so deep in thought that you realize it's been a little longer than you wanted.
Yeah, and then you're calm and relaxed, and then realize you've gone over, and now you're going to be late to work. So now all that calmness is gone. Yeah, now you're really stressed. I got to make it to work on time. But sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. But really like the app. It is free, which is good. It's just plain and simple. But like I said, I would like background sounds, and the speaker on this Series 4 is a lot better. Mm-hmm. You didn't get to hear the old models, but definitely the Series 0, the speaker was not there. No.
I like the speaker on the 4.
Yeah,
we've had conversations.
Yeah,
on the phone.
Me and you have done phone.
The walkie-talkie.
The walkie-talkie. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't even tell, and I don't think you can tell that I had my watch down.
No,
below, like on my side, just like walking stance.
I felt like a crazy person. I was just talking to no one.
The microphone too. The microphone is spectacular. It's not like that on the Series 0. But that's my pick. I really like the app because that's my thing, is having one that's very simple and not guided or distracting. So
nice.
Yeah. What is your pick?
So my pick is called AllTrails, Hike, Run, and Cycle. And it's a hiking app. It's a trail app, actually. It has a iOS app that's really great, and a watch companion. And so the iOS app itself lets you kind of find trails that are around you, so you can go hiking or cycling and stuff. And you can track them. It gives you an idea of how far your trail is going to be, and so you can kind of move around. It's using the GPS in your phone to kind of help guide you through it, and giving you stats on like elevation and time and distance and all that stuff. There's a social aspect to it, which is kind of weird, but if you want to share your stuff, you can. And then the watch companion app basically just lets you start and stop. And so it'll record your duration, your distance, and your speed. But so if you stop for a minute to take in a view or take a rest or something, you can pause it, so you're not tracking that time while you're not moving. But it's been really great. We used it a couple weeks ago to go hiking in the hills over in Burbank. And even when service wasn't that great, it had downloaded the map, and it was using the GPS, so we were still able to continue on and not get lost. That part I really liked, the fact that it downloads the map beforehand and keeps tracking you even if service starts getting a little spotty. It made me feel good that if something happened, I'd still be able to navigate my way out of the mountains. Yeah. Because I could find my way back. So.
Yeah. Well, I have tried this as well.
What'd you think?
I like it. The one feature that I do like, and it was a little confusing at first for me, but it doesn't stay on the face running.
Oh yeah, it'll fall back.
Yeah, which is good because it's probably using a little less battery or whatnot. But I thought it turned off at first, and then I opened it and it was still going. So I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, and I used it actually up in the hills of Burbank as well. And
I saw your guys' photos. I think you guys took the same trail. It was awesome.
Yeah, we'd never been there. Great place too. I would recommend if anyone lives out this way that go there, because you get a spectacular view by walking a mile. Basically, it's a little bit steep, but we had no idea. I thought we walked a lot further, but then looking at that app, I was like, oh, it's only been a mile.
Yeah.
But we can see like the whole city. You can see downtown.
Like you said, it's really steep, but it's actually super accessible too. You can do it in just normal walking shoes and shorts or whatever. And what's great is Burbank has tons of great places to eat afterwards. So you go up and you take some awesome pictures and you burn off all these calories, and then you're like, all right, and you go down and you eat a bunch of tacos or something. Yeah,
we actually made it up a little further, but we wanted to go to the top of the mountain, but we didn't bring a lot of food. So that would be an issue. Yeah. And I got that weird diet right now and stuff. But we'll save all this for our hiking podcast.
Yeah, for the next one, the next hiking podcast.
Yeah, the hike watchers. And,
yes. The nature watchers.
Yeah. But it's a good app, you don't do the paid thing, do you?
No, I haven't gone to the paid version yet. The free version is fine.
Yeah, they have a paid version, but I think it was a little pricey. But if you're hiking a lot, I could see where it'd be beneficial. It was cool to show nearby trails, because there was some that I had no idea that existed.
Yeah, they're right next to you too. You have no idea.
Yeah,
but this also shows you other apps or other trails that are around you, and
it's really cool that it uses your location and then shows you trails around. That feature was great. Really,
it's
cool.
It's a 4.9 in the App Store, so other people like it too.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Well, that's it for this episode. Read the stories we've covered in this episode and a few more stories and news on Flipboard, a link provided in the show notes. Reach out to us and find stories we've covered on Twitter @WatchersTweet. Please subscribe and rate us on whatever podcatcher you use. It would really help us out. And thank you for listening. Until the next episode, I hope the only complications in your life are the ones on the face of your Apple Watch.